And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
There's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times. So, if I burn out, I burn out.
Pierce had it poked away, stolen by Jordan. Lojas down on the floor. It's loose to Humphries. 4 to shoot. Humphries 3.
You like the idea. Jordan coming up with the steal.
Oh, look
again.
at that. The 40-year-old dives to the hardwood.
To have a long career, that's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years. I tell you, that's the goal.
It's all about winning championships and winning.
Kevin Durant just dropped a comment on LeBron's podcast that crossed a line nobody thought he'd touch, and LeBron sat there cracking up like it was the wildest joke he'd ever heard. They really believed they could sneak in little shots at Michael Jordan's legacy without anyone catching on. Big mistake, because what followed exposed everything loud and clear. The reaction hit instantly. Former players started speaking out, fans went off online, and Jordan's legacy clapped back in the most powerful way, with straight-up facts that made LeBron and Durant look completely out of pocket. It all happened on Mind the Game, the podcast LeBron hosts with JJ Redick, featuring Kevin Durant and Steve Nash as guests. The show was supposed to be honest hoops talk from real players who lived the grind.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. But do I still want to do this? You know what I'm saying?
Because you know how hard it is.
Some people will say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
Coward.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. And so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so he's like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit up? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I gotta be there.
I twist my ankle, and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. This is, you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
Instead, it shifted into something messy. A low-key gossip session where 2 of the biggest stars in today's game sat around tossing sneaky shots at the greatest to ever do it. And the wild part? They did it with big smiles, acting like they were being slick. Durant started off talking about commitment, about how players eventually hit a point where they question if they still want to keep pushing in the league after so many seasons. He said athletes reach that moment where they ask themselves if they're still locked in. Then he let the line fly, the one that sparked the chaos. Durant said, some people say, I want to go play baseball, yeah, and then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
All right, Laker Nerd asks, why is the triangle offense less utilized in today's game?
To try to run the triangle offense right now, it'd be very challenging, just because how the game is played and also how defense is covering.
10 to shoot. Jake going right to the rack. No defensive communication.
Why is ring culture so much more prevalent in the NBA than in other sports?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Garth Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy, because that's what basketball is all about.
Bird takes it away from Wilkins, goes to the floor and gets it. Gets it up ahead.
The room froze for a second, and then LeBron burst out laughing. Not a soft laugh, a loud one. He knew exactly what Durant was hinting at, and everyone watching caught it too. Durant was comparing Michael Jordan stepping away to play baseball to LeBron grinding through 20-plus straight seasons. He was basically saying Jordan walked away while LeBron stayed on the court. Steve Nash nodded along, LeBron kept laughing, and in that moment, they weren't just chatting casually. They were sending a message. They were trying to flip the story, pushing the idea that playing longer is more impressive than dominating the league at the highest level, that sticking around somehow matters more than being absolutely untouchable. They left out the most important part of the whole story, the part that makes their entire argument fall apart in the worst way possible. Michael Jordan didn't retire in 1993 because he was bored or because the game got too easy. None of that. Jordan stepped away because his father was taken from him in a tragic moment that changed his life forever. James Jordan was killed that summer during a robbery, taken from the world and left on the side of the road. and the pain hit Michael deeper than anyone on that podcast even bothered to mention. The man who pushed him, guided him, and believed in him before the world ever did was suddenly gone. And at the absolute peak of his greatness, after 3 straight championships, Jordan walked away from basketball out of heartbreak, not weakness. He didn't leave because he quit. He left because he was grieving and wanted to honor his father's memory by following the dream they talked about together, playing professional baseball.
But you have to really play hard. Does that hurt you physically?
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times.
It might not be in the team's best interest, in your best interest, to play all 82. Is that something you thought about at all since you made the goal?
Maybe that's a goal, but yeah, we'll see.
The next day.
I'm available to go and be in the pro. If OBJ shows up, he might score 100.
That was real emotion, not some casual career experiment. So when Kevin Durant throws out, "Some people play baseball," with a smirk, like it's some cute little joke, he isn't being clever. He's being flat out disrespectful. He turned one of the most painful chapters of Jordan's life into a punchline, and LeBron sitting right there laughing along just made it worse. Neither of them said James Jordan's name, neither of them gave the real context. They just let the joke fly and acted like nobody would notice what it really meant. Let's be clear about when Jordan retired. It wasn't after losing in the first round, or getting embarrassed in the finals, or watching his team fall apart. None of that happened. Jordan retired after winning 3 straight NBA championships. He three-peated while dealing with pain most people couldn't even stand up under. Magic Johnson never did that. Larry Bird never did that. Isaiah Thomas never did that. 3 in a row with the entire league chasing you, Jordan made it look like destiny. And basketball experts still say his run from 1991 to 1993 was the greatest stretch of basketball any player has ever delivered. Calling that quitting isn't just wrong, it's straight up disrespectful. And here's where the irony hits heavy. Who's the one making these comments? Kevin Durant, the same Kevin Durant who made one of the most controversial moves in NBA history. In 2016, after the Warriors beat him in the Western Conference Finals, he turned around and joined them. He signed with the same 73-win squad that already had Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, and everybody remembers how that shook the league. That decision stuck to his legacy instantly. Fans clowned him, players questioned him, and the whole league side-eyed him because it looked like he wanted the smoothest possible road to a ring. And the wild part? That wasn't even the end of it. After leaving Golden State, Durant bailed on Brooklyn too, demanding a trade when things didn't go his way, proving he couldn't handle the heat when he wasn't surrounded by a stacked roster. Then he went to Phoenix and dipped on them as well, not even lasting 3 full years before asking out again. And this is the same guy bold enough to call Michael Jordan a quitter. This is the same dude who has hopped from squad to squad his whole career, always searching for the smoothest path to another ring instead of building one from the ground up. And then there's LeBron. When things got tough in Cleveland the first time, he packed up and took his talents to South Beach, linking with D-Wade and Chris Bosh because he couldn't get to the top alone. When Miami started sliding in 2014, he headed back to Cleveland. And when the energy there got rocky again, he bolted to Los Angeles for a new setup. Every time adversity showed up, LeBron found the nearest door and stepped through it. So for these two to sit on a podcast and throw shade at Jordan for stepping away after a three-peat while dealing with his father's death.
You know, the fans are there that watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up. So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. You know, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, you know, the fans are there that watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
That's wild levels of nerve. And the disrespect didn't stop at the baseball line. Durant kept pushing, saying the real goal for a player should be hitting 20 seasons. Not championships, not MVPs, not greatness, just longevity. Just hanging around the league long enough to say you lasted. And LeBron nodded like this was some deep wisdom, like lasting forever is somehow more meaningful than dominating in less time. This is exactly where Michael Jordan's whole mindset shuts their argument down without him even needing to say a word. Jordan never chased longevity. He chased perfection. Every single season, he aimed to max out his talent, push his team to the limit, win championships, grab MVPs, lock up opponents, and leave everything on the court. And if that meant a shorter career, he accepted that. Jordan even said it clearly. If I burn out, I burn out. That means my career is short and I'll go play golf somewhere. He wasn't stressing about playing 20 years. He was focused on being the best, on winning, on building a legacy rooted in dominance, not durability. Now compare that mindset to what Durant is talking about. His angle is playing 20 years just for the sake of lasting. No talk about legacy, no talk about being the best, just staying around and collecting checks. Jordan played 15 years total, but really only 13 full seasons. And in that time, he won 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and made 9 all-defensive teams. That's not just impressive, that's nearly flawless. That's a resume most players can't even imagine touching. Now look at Durant and LeBron together. They've played 39 seasons combined, almost 3 full careers stacked on top of Jordan's peak, nearly 4 decades of NBA basketball. And what do they have to show for all that time? 6 championships total, 5 regular season MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles, and 5 all-defensive selections combined. That's all Durant and LeBron have stacked up across almost 40 years of basketball. They've played nearly 4 decades and still achieved less than what Jordan pulled off in basically 1 insane decade. Twice the time, half the results. And that's the cold truth about longevity versus real greatness. Jordan wasn't just talking theory when he explained his mindset. He lived it every single night. When he entered the league in 1984, he showed up and played all 82 games as a rookie without hesitation. That season, 40 players across the league played every game. It was normal, it was expected, and nobody complained. Jordan averaged 38.3 minutes per game, 4th highest in the NBA, and his total minutes were 3rd behind only Buck Williams and Larry Bird. From day one, he came in built like an Iron Man who refused to take a night off. And this was during an era where the game was tougher, more physical, and way more demanding than today. Teams flew commercial, had one trainer, one strength coach, and practices that pushed players to the limit daily. Back-to-backs were constant, and 3 games in 4 nights happened all the time, yet players still showed up for work. Just look at the 1999 to 2000 season. 58 players played all 82 games. Over half the league suited up every night and gave fans exactly what they paid for. Now compare that to today. In 2022, the fewest players in NBA history played a full season, until 2023 broke that record. And then 2024 broke that. And 2025 went even lower. The worst years for availability in NBA history are happening right now, in the 2020s, in the era when players have every luxury imaginable. Private jets, giant medical staffs, sports scientists, custom nutrition, elite strength coaches, cryotherapy, ice baths, massage specialists, sleep experts, everything you could possibly ask for to stay healthy and ready to hoop. And somehow players are playing less than ever. Why? Because the mindset shifted and the standard dropped. When LeBron started load managing, sitting out games he was healthy enough to play, it sent a message across the league. If the face of the NBA can sit, everyone felt like they could sit too. It trickled down instantly. Role players started resting, bench players started resting, and suddenly the whole league moved like regular season games didn't matter. Some dudes even started sitting out playoff games, which was unheard of before. Now it's become completely normal to let fans down. Fans who paid hundreds for seats, who traveled, who planned nights around their favorite stars, just because a player doesn't feel like suiting up. And Jordan broke this down perfectly without even mentioning Durant or LeBron by name. He talked about load management, about resting when you're perfectly fine, about players choosing comfort over competition. And he summed it up with a line that hits harder than any stat. I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove myself. Jordan explained it perfectly. The fans are there watching. I want to impress that guy way up in the top deck who probably worked his butt off just to afford a ticket. That right there shows the whole difference in mentality. Jordan respected the game, respected the fans, and understood that being an NBA player is a privilege, not some heavy burden you complain about. Meanwhile, LeBron has only played a full 82-game season one time in over 20 years. One time in 2 decades is wild when you look at guys like Bird, Kobe, Duncan, even Allen Iverson, legends who showed up for full seasons multiple times despite tougher eras and fewer rest days. But the so-called face of the NBA, the man chasing Jordan's throne, did it once. And Durant, he's played all 82 only 3 times in his entire career. And these are the guys talking about longevity like it's some championship trophy. They act like simply showing up is more impressive than dominating every night. There's a story that proves exactly what Jordan stood for. Former Bulls star Artis Gilmore once told a young Michael Jordan, "If you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor." Meaning, stop diving for loose balls, stop playing so hard, preserve your body. Jordan's response says everything. What? He's crazy. That's what basketball is all about. Jordan didn't care about stretching his career just to brag about how long he lasted. He cared about playing the right way, giving everything he had, competing at full speed, and bringing energy every single night. Jordan and Larry Bird both played under 15 full seasons, and the reason is simple. They left everything on the floor every night, diving after balls, locking up defensively, and doing whatever it took to win. They didn't pace themselves for year 20. They were locked in on winning this game and this championship. They knew real greatness comes from intensity, not longevity, from quality, not quantity. And their legacies reflect that perfectly. Nobody questions Larry Bird's greatness because he played 13 seasons. Nobody questions Jordan's greatness because he retired multiple times. Instead, people question players who lasted longer but didn't deliver the same results. The rings, the awards, the dominance, that's what matters. So when that Mind the Game episode dropped, the backlash hit instantly. Fans didn't accept it, former players didn't accept it, and Jordan's old teammates absolutely didn't accept it. Stacey King, who won 3 championships alongside Jordan in Chicago, went off on them. He sarcastically renamed the podcast Cry Me a River and called out LeBron and Durant for constantly trying to convince people of their greatness. King kept it real. Great players don't have to tell people they're great. You let fans do that. You let people debate it on talk radio and podcasts. Players don't have to do that. He said everybody already knows LeBron and Durant are great. They don't need to announce it like a sales pitch. And once you start going around telling the world how great you are and listing what separates you from everyone else, you reveal something deeper. Stacey King didn't hold back for a second. He said straight up, "That's a problem. That's why I call it the Cry Me a River podcast, because you're just crying and moaning about what they said." He wasn't joking. He was calling them out with full energy. And he didn't stop there. King cooked Durant's whole longevity argument, exposing how messy the logic really was. He said Kevin Durant kept talking about how playing 20 years proves dedication and hard work, but never mentioned the constant load management or the fact he's only played 82 games 3 times in his entire career. And LeBron? Only once in over 20 years, King made it clear. They can't preach longevity while barely hitting full seasons themselves. Then King went after Durant's playoff resume since leaving Golden State, pointing out the obvious. KD hasn't shown he can win without Stephen Curry. The Brooklyn era fell apart, the Phoenix run didn't hit, and all that talent, all those years, still no titles without a super squad around him. King wasn't sugarcoating anything. Social media exploded too. One fan posted, "Some people's father get murdered and go play baseball. Some people join a 73-win team, get caught making burner accounts, play for 3 more teams, never sniff success again, then say the goal is to play forever, not to actually win." Another wrote, He stopped his game in the middle of a three-peat success story, then came back and whooped everyone again. They can't even compare to his accolades. Fans were not holding back. Durant jumped on Twitter and doubled down. He wrote, "Congrats to those people, and I'll say, MJ retired twice every day for the rest of my life. What are you gonna do about it?" He tried defending himself by saying the game is faster now with more running and stress on ligaments, but fans didn't buy that at all. Not when they watched Jordan play in a rougher era with hand-checking real physical defense and nonstop toughness. What Durant and LeBron don't get is this. When you try to tear down legends to lift yourself up, it backfires hard. It shows insecurity. It shows you know you're not touching that level, so you try to drag them down to yours. Jordan never did that. Kobe never did that. They respected the ones who came before them. They honored the game's history, and they built their legacies by winning, not by gossiping on a podcast about who quit and who didn't. Here's the part Durant and LeBron can't understand. Jordan's legacy doesn't even need defending. It defends itself. NBC recently brought Michael Jordan back into the NBA conversation, not as a player, but as an ambassador, as a voice, as someone who can help fix the culture issues in today's league. That says everything. Why Jordan? Because even after retiring over 20 years ago, he still has more pull and influence than LeBron James, and even more than Adam Silver. When Jordan talks, people listen. When Jordan says players should compete, should show up, should respect the fans, the message actually hits. It shifts the culture. That's Jordan's real response to Durant and LeBron, not a podcast, not a tweet, not some public rant. His answer is his lasting impact. His answer is that his name still carries more weight than anyone playing today. His answer is the simple fact that when the NBA needs guidance, they don't call LeBron, they call Michael Jordan. They call the standard setter, the blueprint, the man who showed the world what real basketball excellence looks like. Durant and LeBron can laugh on their podcast all they want, dismiss rings, dismiss systems, dismiss everything Jordan built, but at the end of the day, they're still measured against him. Every debate still leads back to him. Every all-time list still has him at the top. Every conversation about greatness starts with his name, no matter how loud anybody tries to argue. No amount of longevity will change that. No podcast talk will rewrite that. No load management strategy will build a legacy strong enough to erase it. Because Michael Jordan didn't chase years, he chased greatness. And greatness doesn't need 20 seasons to prove itself. Sometimes it only needs one moment, one game, one season to show the world what the best truly looks like. Jordan had 13 of those seasons, 13 years of pure domination. 6 championships, a perfect finals record, 10 scoring titles, 9 all-defensive teams, 5 MVPs, still the strongest peak the game has ever seen. Durant and LeBron together, almost 40 seasons between them, and they still haven't matched Jordan's resume. And deep down, everyone knows they never will. So yes, Michael Jordan responded to Durant and LeBron. He just didn't need to say their names to do it. His mindset is the response. His standard is the response. His entire approach to basketball is louder than any joke they could ever make on a podcast. Louder than any stat they could stack up in year 20. Louder than any argument they try to force on fans. Because when people think about basketball greatness, they think of Michael Jordan. Pure, undeniable, unstoppable greatness. And if you think today's NBA needs a reality check, hit that like button. If you think players need to respect the game and the legends who built it, drop your thoughts below. And for more deep dives exposing what's really happening in basketball, subscribe to SpillFame, share the video, and I'll see you on the next one.